Hi, Dan here from Dearmouring Arts and Love Core. In this video I want to take you on a little communication journey and share with you some gold and techniques in reading people, connecting with people, communicating and being extremely effective at it. So this is important for practitioners. It's super important because I only have limited, as a practitioner, limited time to read my client and to respond in a effective, positive and transformative way from the time they contact me, either on the phone or through email, and certainly when they come to my session room. I only have a short amount of time, 10-15 minutes, half an hour, to get to know them as quickly as I can and to create a rapport, to create an energy of trust and establish a deep space of you can trust me, you can come to my practice and fully relax and go into all the processes and all the strong experiences that you've denied for decades sometimes, hence you come to Dearmouring. I want to provide that space for you as soon as I can and as deeply as I can so that you get the most out of the session. And in order for me to do so, I need to know how to read people, how to communicate. So one of the things that I look for immediately as soon as the person comes through, and also as soon as I hear the voice, is to see what way they think. There are three ways that we think. We think in pictures, so the visual people. We think in sounds, the audio people. And we think in feelings, the kinesthetic people. Each one of us has all three systems innate and built into our system, except we use predominantly one, and then second one a little bit less, and the third one a little bit less. And also in different situations in life and with different people, we could shift and use different ways of thinking. And when I say ways of thinking, I literally mean that. So visual people, they actually think in pictures. So what that means is that they think extremely quick. Everything is like images. They're like 1,000 words per image. You know what I mean? It's like and the language they use. So how you detect if somebody is a visual person is, first of all, they'll be speaking quite fast, like I'm speaking now. Second of all, they'll be using words like, yeah, I see what you mean. That's clear. Those kind of phrases are actually, they are literally telling you, I see what you mean, because that's what's happening in the head. Also, when they think, they'll be looking up, left and right, up. So they'll be remembering, if you ask them questions where they have to remember, they'll be looking up to remember, up left, creating images up right. And so when somebody comes to me and they display eye movements going up a lot and they speak fast and they use the vocabulary of I see what you mean and quite tak 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 tak, then I know I'm talking to a person who literally thinks in pictures, in visions. And it's very important that I match their thinking, because let me finish all three and then I'll come back to that point. So the audio people, they think in sounds, and when they speak, it will sound like what I sound now. Right now I'm in my audio. It's very melodic, it's slightly slower than the visual, and they will be using phrases like, I like the sound of that. That sounds about right. I hear you. Those are kind of the phrases that the audio people will use, and they'll be looking left and right horizontally. So this is the arena of audio person. The last one is kinesthetic. So kinesthetic, they take the time to speak, like I do now. They'll be looking down a lot, and they will give themselves time to feel into whatever they're saying and what's going on. They will literally think in feelings. The trick here is, if you have a visual client and let's say I'm kinesthetic therapist, we literally speak different language. It's like speaking Chinese in German. It's like they will never get each other. And so you have a problem. How do you communicate with someone when you speak a different language? And you keep telling them, you can tell them 50 times, 100 times the same thing. But can you not see, like, are you crazy? Are you stupid? I keep telling you this. And they literally don't understand because they don't get it. So what I need to do as an effective communicator, first of all, I need to pick up what way of thinking they're using, and then I need to speak in the same way. So I need to shift myself into, so predominantly I'm visual, but I have all three. So if a visual client comes in, hop, I'm visual, let me just go, ta-da-da-da-da-da, we're here. If an audio client comes in, I need to slow down myself a little bit, and I need to hear them. I need to give them time to hear what I'm saying in a melodic kind of way. And as soon as I do that, they have a feeling that they met a friend. They have a feeling that they met someone from the same country. So we speak the same language, and rapport is being established like this. I mean, obviously there are other points to consider, which we'll come to. But this is a major one, to actually speak the same language. And equally, if I have a kinesthetic person come in, and I'll give you an example. My mom, bless her, she was a kinesthetic person. And in my growing up and my adolescence, I was freaking out so quick. I mean, for me, everything happens in milliseconds and seconds, like frrrr. And for her, I would ask her a question, and she would think. And then respond. It was driving me crazy for years, until I learned that she's kinesthetic and I'm visual. Now I get it, Mama. And then I slowed down, I just gave her time. And from that, literally from that point, we had amazing conversations. I never got frustrated. She always had the feeling that I was actually getting what she's saying, which I did. Oh yeah, so the kinesthetic people, they will be using phrases like, I get you. Yeah. I feel that. It makes sense. Those are kind of phrases. So basically she was really, it's transformed our relationship. It's that important, and it's so simple, but I needed to know it. Until I learned it, it was frustrating. So hopefully this is going to help you to transform your relationships as well. And certainly to establish a quick rapport with your clients when you work. Again, ask me questions if you have, but this is I believe this technique comes from NLP, if I'm correct, that's where it originates from. So feel free to research it and also ask questions if you want to. So then we move on to another part of communication, which is sound. How do I sound? How do I affect you with my sound? Or what effect my sound has on you or client? And how can I shift your way of being through use of my sound? And again, all of this has to come from practice. So you need to practice, and then you actually get what I'm saying. So there are different compartments in a body that voice can come from. Like right now, I'm speaking from my chest, from my heart. So this is my heart voice. I could also speak like this, and this is my head voice, and many people speak like this, and my God, when I speak like this, ooh la la, it's like difficult to hear, but many people speak like that. Oh, they can speak like this, they can speak like they have a plum in the throat, and they'll be speaking from the throat. Oh, they can speak like this, from the belly. Oh, yeah. Oh, they can speak like this, full power, huh? You know what I mean? Oh, they'll be like this, from second chakra, they'll be kind of mulling it like this, you know what I mean? And every one of those voices, because it comes from a different place in the body, or my body, has a totally different effect on the person that I'm talking to. So again, it's mucho importante to match the frequency of the person I'm talking to. So if somebody comes and start talking from the head like this, and blah, 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 and their voice is like this, and the fastest way for me to become the friend, to let them know that we are on the same side of that we're on the same team, that I'm not against them, that I'm there with them, and potentially then to bring them down to the heart level, which is where I want to have this conversation from, because I feel it's the most empowering and the most healing, is to match them. So first they come in and they start going, and I go, hi, how are you doing? Yeah, nice to meet you, I'm Dan. Yeah, please sit down, take a look. Would you like a cup of tea? Yeah, sure. And then slowly, as the minutes goes, I'm gonna slowly transform my voice, little by little. I'm gonna start standing more and more like this, and I'm gonna give them chance to follow me. It's almost like taking them by the hand, and we walk across the bridge slowly, one step at a time, until we come to this tone of voice. And this is really the influence that we have, the resonance that we give each other. Voice is a resonance. It's sound waves. So it reverberates through space and it affects everything around it. So if I'm a conscious communicator and I consciously project a certain frequency from my body, I serve as a tuning fork, like that the other person can attune to. And silently I invite them to come to me. I invite them to come to my side of the bridge, if you like. Because I know where the session has to happen. Like, for example, if somebody is stuck in the head and they come and talk like this and they're very fast and they're like, my God, they're just like thinking, and like there's no feeling, there's no connection to the body, they're just totally in the head, and the energy field looks like this, like a massive head and a small body. Yes, we could have a Dearmouring session in that space, but it's not going to be as effective, because the most effective Dearmouring session is going to be if the energy field is like this. So all the systems have to be equally present, awaken, and alive, because then person can really feel and transmute and transform whatever is happening in the body. Equally, if somebody comes like this and they talk like this and they have a big base, but the head is completely closed and there is no upness, there is no understanding of things, equally not good. So there I need to kind of open it up until we come to straight line as much as possible, of course. And of course you need to know that this is a short-lived transformation for them. For me, obviously, because I've practiced literally for many years now, I can shift and change, but for someone who does it for the first time, the person that I'm taking over the bridge to new way of expression, for them it's just going to be like a 2-hour wonder, or maybe a little bit longer, while they're in the practice. But this gives us enough time for them to actually meet themselves in different places throughout the session, and to release, transform, transmute as much as they can within the session. So it's very important to practice this, and you practice it very simply. You kind of, first of all, you listen to yourself, and this will also change sometimes. If I'm feeling fear, if I'm fearful, or if I'm stressed, the body will close, it will tighten up, so that the voice will naturally sound a little bit more like this. So I need to breathe and relax my diaphragm, relax my belly, and start sounding from the heart again. So first of all, you clock yourself. Where does your voice come from? Are you really conscious of where your voice comes from? And this is hours and hours of practice. This is not going to happen in a second. Because during the day, the more you observe yourself where your voice comes from, the better you're going to get at clocking it. Okay, now I'm in my head. Okay, now I'm in my gut. Okay, now I'm in my heart. And so you start practicing with, and then when you talk to other people, you start listening to them. And just, it's a learning curve. It's a field of interest, if you like. And there is never end to this game. I'm still learning myself, because the path of mastery is not, there is no an end point. It's just ongoing journey, deeper. So be curious, be inquisitive, observe other people. What do they sound like? Where does the sound come from? And then when you talk to them, practice to change your, so basically self-practice is first I clock myself to feel into, because that's a feeling thing, where my sound comes from, and the hearing thing, but mostly feeling. And then I practice sounding from different compartments in myself. And at first I sound silly and I sound kind of like an actor and pretending. until I do it more and more to actually embody. So when I mimic someone else, when I copy someone's sound, when I meet them at their frequency, so I don't sound like a parrot, so I don't sound condescending. Like if somebody comes and they start talking like this, and then I can start, yes, I'm going to talk like this. It's condescending. It's not authentic. It's pretending. And so there can't be any pretending. It has to be authentic. So it takes practice. So at first you'll be pretending and sounding silly, but practice it with your friends. Tell them up front, look, I'm learning this new way of communicating, and what I need to practice is where my voice comes from and how that affects you. And then see in your relations, friends and family, what kind of effect you have on them, and how can you help them become at ease, relax into themselves. Because again, like when you're reading people's way of thinking, visual, audio, kinesthetic, the same is when I speak with them. If I manage to meet their frequency, they have a feeling of they met a friend. They met someone they can truly listen to them and hear them. And that's very, very important. It's vital in them relaxing and trusting you. So this is not a battle of ego. I'm right, I'm better, and I'm visual, so you should be visual, and I speak like this, so you should be speaking to me, otherwise you can fuck off. You can, but there's no greatness in that. It's no expansion in that. It's limiting. So what I'm sharing here is opening up to embodying more of yourself, because at the end of the day, you have the whole range. All frequencies are in you. In our system, we can be everything. So this is, if you like, a spiritual gym where you start lifting spiritual weights and becoming someone else, not pretending to be someone else, actually becoming, authentically becoming someone else. And that takes practice. Biodanza was a great, great practice for that, because there I really became many things authentically. And landmark and biodanza, I guess those two. So have a practice, ask me questions if you need to, but those two things will, when you embody them well, they will seriously transform every single relationship you have. You'll be surprised how many relationships in your life are not working or are difficult simply because you speak different language, for no other reason. And once you get that, and you think, oh my God, of course I can't get on with this person because I'm from Mars, they're from Venus, or like whatever, different universes meeting. But if I can suddenly transform myself and become like them, everything changes. This is the magic of communication. It's so simple. I just have to stop being right and stop wanting everybody else to change to accommodate me. Instead, I accommodate myself to them. It's very simple and very humbling. Very human. I mean, it transformed my life greatly. Again, in every aspect, every area of my life got positively impacted when I learned and practiced and put in practice this stuff that I'm telling you now. And you want to be a little bit careful here. There is a difference between influencing and manipulating. I mean, actually there is no difference, but there's a moral difference. So I could be using these tools to manipulate someone to do what I want them to do, because it happens on a subconscious level, and if person is not a conscious communicator like I am, then I have the power over them. I could kind of spin them around my little finger. They won't know why they're responding to me in a way they do, but they will, because it's subconscious, it's body, it's energy, it's sound, it's frequency, it's not mental thing, it's a energetic thing, emotional thing. So I need to be careful to where do I come from, and this is why I say heart is where it's at. Heart is the place that guides the Christ consciousness, that guides the highest moral compass, if you like, in human experience. Because if I come from solar plexus, this is ego, this is me, mine, I do it to you, I'm the cause, I run a risk of severe manipulation and hurting other people or creating chaos for myself, and that's not the point of life. So pay a little attention. The better you come, and this is, the slogan, with more power comes more responsibility. Well, this one is particularly powerful. So the better you become at shifting your focus, the more you're going to have to become consciously responsible how you use it and why you use it with people. And if you use it for the greatest benefit of them, and you use it from the heart, with love, with care for another and for the world, then everything is good. Use it. The tools are there to be used. There are no bad tools. It's just misuse of those tools is the difference between white and black path, if you like. So I hope this helps you, and I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.